Welcome back, Wagoneers, to another exciting episode of the Wasted Wagons podcast. With us here we have Sean, Todd, Russ, Pat, and myself. I'm Travis. And as we said in the previous episode when we discussed the overratedness of the holiday of Mardi Gras in New Orleans, well, we just got Mardi Gras season finished up. And I do have one quick event to share with my Mardi Gras experience on Lundi Gras, since Mardi Gras Day was pretty much kind of wiped out with the wind, at least here in Jefferson Parish.
The weather.
And now it's time for another segment of What Grinds Todd's Gears.
Or Travis's.
So, like I said, Mardi Gras Day in Jefferson Parish was canceled due to high winds. It was kind of premature, in my opinion, but because of that, we decided to make sure we went out on Lundi Gras. We went over by Sean's house and walked down to the route and saw, the parade we actually used to ride in, Centurions, and it was followed by a crew of kings, I believe it was called. And there was a gentleman there standing right in front of us who seemed to think he owned the street. He had 2 chairs laid out, a wagon laid out, some blankets laid out. He was with, I'm assuming, his girlfriend and another female. And this guy was making sure nobody encroached on his territory. If it didn't matter the age, didn't matter the sex, whoever stepped in front of this gentleman's way, he made sure to tell him that was his spot. And to the point where he was, almost taking stuff out of kids' hands because he thought it was thrown to him. And let's just be honest here. Like we went out with a 13-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, and he's sitting here taking stuff out of kids' hands, and he's had to be about 35 years old. So he had
an impressive set of back tits, right?
He had a humongous pair of back titties.
Can we describe this real fast?
Yeah, I mean, if you can imagine. So if you can imagine looking
Jot that down.
if you can imagine looking at a female from the front, this guy was just turned backwards, and it looked like he had boobs on his back.
Just hit Urban Dictionary, kids.
So anyway,
I'd be curious if there's other names for him.
And I normally, I would say this is another issue that I've noticed over the years with Mardi Gras as people, as I've gotten older, as people just getting more rude out on the route and thinking that they went out there and staked out their territory, and anything that gets thrown in that vicinity is theirs. I mean, we're talking about a 35-year-old man who's trying to rob kids of plastic beads, that he's going to probably just throw away or something. So, opinions here.
Those people are complete douchebags. Mardi Gras is about the enjoyment of the band, the floats, and all the lights and the throws, but the audience is primarily for the kids. Like, that's what if you're going to allow ladders to be out, the ladders are for the kids. Mm-hmm. No adult should be standing on a ladder or around the ladder or in a ladder unless they're supervising a child. So to have some, flat out call him, some asshole trying to jump in front of other patrons, let alone kids, to snag a throw, no matter what it is, it's just stupid. And it really speaks to how pathetic they are and their life is, because what are you going to do with it? Like, what's the significance of catching like a stuffed animal or something like that? Now, maybe the only exception would be if one of your friends is on a float and they have something very specific for you, mm-hmm. and they spot you and they're trying to get it to you and like, hey, you really need to catch this thing. Other than that, if it's right at you, yours is fine. If you gotta like do a Justin Jefferson full extension in the end zone, like pose to make a catch, and it's in front of a child, you probably deserve to get hit by a float.
Yeah. Kind of like what you said in the last episode, Mardi Gras, for adults especially, should be all about the vibe. Listening to the bands, mm-hmm. seeing the core of the floats. I don't think any adult should be fighting over beads or trinkets or anything like that. And this fucking loser was clearly doing that.
Yeah. And I mean, it wasn't like he was catching a shoe from Uses or a Zulu coconut or even one of the cool throws from Tux. This was Jefferson Parish. You're catching plastic beads, old rotted stuffed animals. I mean, it's not.
I mean, cups with the politicians on them. I mean, no offense, Joey, but
we love you, Joey. But yeah, so I don't know. It ruined my night. Like it was. I hadn't really been to any parades this year, so I was kind of looking forward to it because of the fact that we also used to ride in Centurion. So it's one that I do look forward to going, just because I know a few people in the parade. But I gotta say, I even kind of cut my drinking off because I was just like so pissed off at this guy that it pretty much destroyed my night. So. If you're, if this gentleman ever happens to cross the Wasted Wagons podcast, I hope he knows we're talking about him.
And I hope he doesn't subscribe, comment, or like, because we don't want him.
Wait.
Him or his back titties.
Let's take what we can get.
No. I will make a ghost account and make another subscriber
To make
so
a
that
forum.
people like that guy don't subscribe, because if you do, you're a piece of shit.
His back titties can subscribe, but not himself.
Take one subscribe for each of them.
We'll take his titties, just not him.
But yeah, that's super shitty to do, because like, again, you're there for the kids, especially if you bring your kids out. They want to have a good time. They want to catch all the cool stuff, no matter what they do with it. Like, you're an adult. What are you going to do with the throws after they're done?
And it wasn't just us. Like we had, there was another guy who he was holding his young child.
He was holding a fucking baby.
Like a baby, and he's walking up to the float to get his daughter thrown something, and the guy makes sure to stop him and say, "You got to bring her over that way. This is my area." And then the guy, I mean, like you could read the look on the guy's face. The guy holding the daughter, he was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like that was the look he gave.
He was pissed.
So then when he put his daughter down, he made sure he backed up and stood in front of this guy's chairs. And then like every time the guy passed him, like he would refuse to move. So he would make the guy walk around him to just say like, "All right, you're gonna get in my face. Well, I'm gonna stand in your shit."
What an asshat! Like,
So on a nozzle scale, what would you say?
15 out of 10.
yeah,
That's a 5 out of 5 heart right there.
hardcore douche canoe.
Yeah. I mean, somewhat related, it's like the people who will go out to the parade route and like get spray paint and try to spray paint their area. Like, hey, I'm out here. I'm claiming this territory for me and my family. Like, you don't own that plot of land. Like, you if you're out there and you have a couple of chairs in the way, I get it. That's fine. But like, I'm talking more about they go out like the night before and spray paint the area. Like, oh, this is mine. Like, you don't have any right to do that. Like, I get the idea and the concept behind it, and I have been part of a crew that has slept on taking turns like sleeping on the parade route to ensure we keep our spot. But like, there was always someone there. We didn't just go out there, mark a spot, and then leave. And like, oh no, you got to respect that I did this. This is my territory. No, it's not.
And you hit the nail on the head by saying like you had somebody physically out there. You can't just spray paint the ground and just be like, oh, this is mine.
Yeah.
Write your name on the ground.
Like,
that
I
doesn't fly.
love on the New Orleans Reddit. There's people like that. They get like green spray paint and they go and spray paint over the lines and say "fuck your spot."
Well, last year on Mardi Gras Day when we were out by your house, they had a borderline blue hair that had laid like a quilt on the ground, and then she was getting mad that the kids who kept going back and forth, like running to the floats and
Stepping
bringing
on
stuff
it.
back to the wagon, they were stepping on it, and she was like, "Yeah, they keep stepping on my quilt." Well, then get it off the fucking ground. Like it's on the fucking dirty ground to begin with.
Why is your fucking quilt out in the street?
Yeah, exactly.
this is also a case of
Hope a cabbage takes you out.
this is also a case of like
Or a freaking lemon that they throw 100 miles an hour.
like read the room and understand like, hey, blue hair, older person, whatever. This is about like the kids. Like, it can be fun for you too, but like this party is for the kids. Like, chill out.
I feel bad at Toth because Joey said he was going to march with the ragtag marching band or whatever. I didn't get to. I saw them halfway when they were passing, kind of on the ass end, because I'm all the way in the back under the canopy eating chicken, whatever, and
Popeyes?
to run. Oh yeah, Popeyes. Okay. Oh yeah, we had 6 bags of Popeyes chicken out on the route and on Toth. And to run up to the front, it's like going through a labyrinth of chairs and ladders and step stools to get up to the front. So it's like, oh, the ragtag marching band's passing, and I had like no chance. I'm like, parkouring over shit to get out there, and yeah, I couldn't tell if Joey was in the band or not. I was like looking down, I was like, I don't see him.
Yeah, he was there. He posted some pictures.
Oh, he did, and I missed out on a koozie because I have from the ragtag marching band. I have a 2020 and a 2022.
I got a Joey Lahack koozie.
But no, I'm talking about the the one I was talking about on the pod with like the 9 with the goat in it and everything. That's the ragtag marching band koozie. But oh well, it's always next year.
Where's next year? So, Todd, I understand that you also have something that grinds your gears that you want to kind of get off your chest.
It's just one question. We don't have to go into great detail about it.
We're going to go into detail.
I mean,
I'll be the guy to go into detail with
okay,
this.
so my son plays travel ball. I don't know how many of y'all are familiar with the travel ball circuit.
Circuit.
It's pretty. I mean, if you win these tournaments that last all fucking day. You get a little ring that looks like you can get out of a little Crack-a-Jack box.
You mean like the South Park where they were trying to lose on purpose because they wanted to go home?
So my thing is, do you think these coaches who coach travel ball like to use these rings as or not? Just one simple answer, or nah.
Probably so.
Is this a new question we're going to ask our guests? God.
No, I mean this is all rings or nah.
I think you prefaced before the episode started recording that was the question. I was not prepared for that to be the
What
question.
would you think it was going to be? Nah, man.
I thought it was going to be
These
more.
coaches think this shit's life or death. So
I
coach
thought
or nah.
I thought your question was going to be more like, do these coaches have a power trip, or they use their championship rings?
I mean, they definitely do, but do you think they use them as so what?
I thought
what
you
do
were
you
going
think
to.
they do with them? Did they put them on a fucking mantle? I mean,
They might turn them into butt plugs, but
they got a little 11-year-olds that they want to win rings for. So I mean, what do you think they do with them?
no.
I would assume
They
they.
wear 'em to work.
Probably, huh?
I would
wear 'em to work
assume
and show 'em off to
they
their
take them,
coworkers and-
put them on like a mantle or in a case, and then they bring them to
I mean,
an
it's not.
event to show off.
I mean, these things are like every weekend though, so it's not like you're winning something that's like statewide,
Like an
or
annual
nationwide
thing or
anything.
something?
It's like it's every weekend or every other weekend. So it's not like it's like a huge accomplishment.
But isn't it like
But I mean-
collecting Infinity Stones? Like
So-
the more
so-
you get, like the
So the hole in the
talking out my
rings is
ass,
like
I'm sorry.
this. I mean, do you think it? I mean, I think so, right?
I think the Tully is working.
Nah.
You know
I was
what?
going to say is like, I know joking aside, it's like, I don't know if that's physically possible. If it's a championship ring they're going to wear on their fingers. I'm just saying.
They're gonna wear it on one of their fingers.
The lower finger.
The 11th finger.
But no, I mean, like I used to make the joke myself about some of these rec ball coaches wanting to keep their Mike Miley trophies next on their nightstand, when to sleep with it. So
Yeah, I mean, I didn't bring that up in our interviews, but meaning like not to knock people that do cook-offs and stuff, but it does seem like every cook-off you go to, there is a team that's like they do this. They go to every cook-off in the city, and they like pride themselves on the little paddles and things that they can win. And it's like you're not getting paid to do this. Your team is putting forth the money and all that shit to get in these things. It's like for what? So you can say you won 20 paddles from different cook-offs, like whoopee.
So I understand that because in a sense they are in a competition, and it's a way for you to advertise and show off that you're good at what you do, and maybe you get a company that reaches out to you to sponsor like an employee event, and they want you to cook at the
Right.
event. So I get
Well,
some
that's what
of
it makes
it.
me wonder is that it's like I wonder if they really are somehow this works out to where they're getting something back and it's not just literally a hardcore hobby that they like to be in cook-offs.
I think a lot of it's probably just a hobby. Like people in general probably like to show off that they're good at stuff, and some people like to engage in like dick measuring contests.
Yeah.
Like we see it in the racing world. There are guys that have much bigger trailers and cars or more expensive stuff, and a lot of it is just them showing off that, hey, I got a better setup than you.
Well, I feel the same way about what Todd's saying about the rings. If it's like, okay, they win 20 paddles from different crawfish cook-offs, it's like, do they go show them to their friends of like, look at my wall full of paddles?
I mean,
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
I mean, in a more personal experience, like I've got a bunch of like kickball like trophies and medals, and not that I want to show them off, but like if I've run across a new team that want to talk shit that they were hot shit, and I'm like, you could kiss the rings because I got them.
Russell, is he directing that at you?
No,
I don't
no,
believe
not
so.
at all.
No.
Russell has more championships than I do. But I'm talking about these little cocky assholes that come into the league and they think they're hot shit because they're relatively decent. And that's fine. Then I gotta I gotta unload the resume on them and be like, hey, I'm so like I had one kid come up and he's like, oh man, you're so and so blah. Who are you? I'm like, you know my name. He's like, what? I'm like, who? Well, I'm good. Yeah, you know my name. If you don't know my name, I'm gonna show you, and you're gonna know my name after the game. So fuck you, little.
You little bitch.
Pretty much, yeah. But ultimately,
My name is Live.
Black Love.
I mean,
no, it's-
touche because I think think about how many people would look at our fantasy trophy with the names engraved and be like, y'all are a bunch of dorks. It's like it is what it is.
Yeah, I'd agree. But I think anyone in that participates in any competitive thing, whether it's amongst friends or competing against the general public,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you want to show off a little bit like your accolades for something you put a lot of time and effort into and money
Right.
into? You want to show off, and I understand that.
Yeah.
To Todd's point, though, yes, I probably agree that some of these coaches want to be able to flaunt like their tournament rings and show off like oh, I'm big dick on the block, I got the best team, or that I'm the best coach, and show off to other coaches and other parents and whatnot, and they use that as.
But I wasn't necessarily saying that they wanted to flaunt them as far as like, look, I'm winning. I was asking if they actually used them.
As cock rings.
Yeah.
Okay,
Precisely.
I also think it might translate into other parts of their life where they also want to show off and maybe compensate. And hey, if you want to use a cock ring, do whatever you want. I'm not here to judge.
Compensate, I think, is the right word.
I don't
think you got it.
kink shame. Okay, it's been well described. Like me and my postings in the group, I don't have a kink shame. So sorry.
I mean, I really don't either.
Whatever tickles you pickle.
Like bottom line, to put a bow on that, I think the bottom line is I think a lot of coaches are in this for themselves and not for the kids, and that's where you lose me.
I mean, the travel ball world in general just kind of sucks, but it is what it is.
Well, that's what I was saying during the Joey interview. It's funny how that's risen because like the rec ball was all about, at least in Kenner when I was growing up, and travel ball was like maybe like one team of travel ball, and it was like that was like the snooty rich kids or something, and it was like, oh, that's beyond us or whatever. And now it seems like everybody's in it, but the vibe I'm hearing is the same thing we thought when we were younger. It's just there's a shit ton more of travel teams than there are like playground teams.
I thought rec ball's like practically dead.
I think you see it in youth soccer as well. Like
Yeah.
when you get to
Soccer's
these,
definitely changed,
these club select teams or the travel teams, they push a lot of players who maybe aren't by their standard good enough to play on the club travel team.
Right.
They push them out, and it's all about the travel team, the club team, and pushing them that, and it excludes a lot of kids that probably deserve a shot to play on these teams, but maybe there's a monetary influence, maybe there's a parental influence that takes over, and some kids get looked over because the coaches are clout chasing, they're money chasing, they're fame chasing, things like that, and it kind of muddles the whole picture of everything, and it sucks.
Yeah, I get that. I've heard that now. Do you say that like from a friend, coworker whose like sons play soccer at Rummel, and it's like he was talking about how they had to break it to the club league coach that it's like the school team is way more important. We gotta like it's almost like the club or the playground team was trying to like take pride in like stealing kids away from playing for high schools and stuff like that, and like acting like it's more important. It's like not really.
I'll give you a good example. Let's say I have friends like that. They're playing second base on a Saturday on a tournament. They're doing fucking great, crushing it, right? Making the routine plays, making great plays like that. Come Sunday, the kid doesn't play as much. He did everything right, offensively and defensively, on Saturday. He probably deserves to play.
Thank you for clarifying that.
But on Showcase Sunday, they put another kid in who is maybe not bad. He's probably all right.
Yeah.
But maybe the parents probably donated to help cover some uniforms or some other expenses like that,
Some red pants.
or
The little other favors,
or some after hours tutelage and work or whatever the case may be. I'm saying. So now the kid who thought he should probably play on Sunday doesn't play nearly as much or at all, and he doesn't understand why. And now that kid's kind of dejected. It's like, I did so well. I thought I played good. The coach said I played good. My teammates said I played good. We won. But now on Sunday, I'm not playing at all or as much over some other kid who maybe had a decent tournament, but maybe not as good as me. Dad, Mom, why is this kid playing over me? And what explanation as a parent do you give other than like, I don't know? When you really know deep down, the coaches are chode. This other kid's parents are nozzles. And you got to explain to your kid that, hey, I'm sorry. It sucks. I get it. You're doing the best you can. No, I don't know why little Timmy played over you when you played well and or better than him.
You see, son, at the end of the day, chodes and nozzles flock together. I don't know.
Do you think that's dejecting to a kid's confidence?
It probably has to be. You have to be. If I'm at a tournament, I'm playing well, and I'm not making any egregious errors that are hurting the team, but I'm doing the standard and maybe a little bit above, and then I kind of get like demoted the next day. Yeah, I'd probably feel pretty shitty.
What if you're making great plays and turning double plays and shit, and it still happens to you the next day?
Well, then you got to cut some brake lines on the car for the coach, allegedly.
You think they got a fitted ring?
Definitely a small, like 2-inch fitted ring for the coach.
Oh, I agree.
All right, moving on from our Mardi Gras and douchebag coach talk. Sean, you have some events coming up that you wanted to talk about.
Well, it is kind of Mardi Gras related. Yeah, this Sunday I'm going to be marching in my kilt, in my fishing shirt. That's what our uniforms are for the crew of Zeus. Yes, we have a Zeus fishing shirt. We wear kilts.
Those are it's like Russell's Columbia right there.
Exactly. It's got the Zeus logo on it, and we're required. And that's the uniform. You have to have a kilt, or you can't march.
Underwear or no underwear under the kilt?
Some go as far as like the Speedos and stuff, and think it's hilarious to keep flashing people under. What you got under there and all that. But
I think Sean should wear a thong.
I'm asking you.
I wear shorts.
Okay.
No, but
Like biker shorts or
no, just regular shorts. But you have to pull them up high because the kilt actually is like you wear it at the real waist, whatever that is, natural waist. So it is weird when you first put them on. It's like they say, like think like you're getting out of the shower and you wrap like a robe or a towel around you. So it has to be here. So it actually, because if not, you see the people with the kilts that are like halfway down their calf because they're wearing them on their regular waist. So it is a little weird to get used to. So I have the shorts pulled up to that over it, but pockets so I can hold my keys and phone and stuff like that. And you do get I call it the nutsack purse. It's called a sporran. It's the thing. It's a little purse that you see with the kilt that's got like the fur and the frillies things on it.
sporran?
Yes, it's a little chain belt that goes around you, and it's a snap purse in the front. I usually put mini bottles and small things in there.
This goes on top of the kilt?
Yes, this is on the front. If you ever watch, just look up somebody wearing a kilt, and you'll see the little purse thing hanging on the front. That's the sporran, as it's called. And I even last year I added the hose, the socks that go all the way up to the knees, and even flashes, like the little flags that hang off that match the kilt and everything. So some of the guys get really into it. They have like sashes and hats and all kinds of stuff too. But so fishing shirt, kilt, and it's in the St. Patrick's Day parade. So it's an Irish parade, right? Well, then we're Crew of Zeus. We still exist for Mardi Gras, meaning the parade is dead, but they want to get the parade back at some point. But there's all this politics and stuff involved and reasons the parade went away, blah, blah, blah. But we still have a float that we walk behind. It's called the Tusa. It's named after one of the founders of the crew in 1957. His name was, I forget, Tusa was his last name. And started the crew, what?
I was like, Funky Watusa, the song?
No. No, some guys playing dice or something at Gennaro's on Metairie Road started Metairie Mardi Gras. They said
Can you describe the guys shooting dice?
Some brother shooting dice. So it said,
I wasn't there in 1957, so But yes, Gennaro's Bar is where Metairie Mardi Gras was born, saying like, this is fun in New Orleans. Maybe we should bring it out here. So Zeus is actually the oldest Metairie parade. They started, and they used to parade down Metairie Road. And that's one of their stipulations of coming back. They want to be able to parade on during Mardi Gras time down Metairie Road. And it's like, ooh, that's a stiff thing. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. But so anyway, we have a float called the Tusa. It's a pirate ship. And so, yes, it's an Irish themed parade where, a crew named after a Greek god. We walk behind a pirate ship. It makes total sense. And some of the guys ride on the Tusa itself, and the rest of us, I think we're up to like at least 65 that are going to walk behind with our flower canes and our kilts and everything. And that's this coming Sunday. It's going to be interesting because Argus is now in front of the St. Patrick's Day parade. So it's going to be, they said, 150 units in this parade. So it's like, bring your tent and you're going to freaking sleep out there probably. And it's an all-day thing for us. It's like we get there. We meet at a Trudeau Tavern's our bar. We have meetings and stuff out almost in Kenner. And we meet there at like 7 in the morning, drink Bloody Marys. Breakfast is usually donuts and chicken. Go figure. Yeah, donuts and fried chicken. And then we bring it and put it on the float. And get to the staging area, like by Rummel over there, by like 8:15-ish or so. And that's probably the best part, is just walking around, cutting up, meeting, just talking to random people. They ain't misbehaving ladies, just random people.
You kind of answered my question a little bit. I was going to ask, what do you all throw, quote unquote, for the parade? I know you guys do roses.
Yeah, the flower
Flowers.
canes.
Yeah. Is there anything else?
Some guys will have beads, like they can put a bag of beads on the Tusa and use that. Garters, different things. Like usually somebody will hand me like some stuff. I put them on my arms and stuff, and and people will come up and like, ooh, I want those. Oh, I forgot I'm even wearing those, and hand those out. But yeah, I mean it's limited to the roses and the kisses.
Now, are the flowers for the kids or are they for men with back titties?
They are definitely for the kids, and yeah, I'm not one. Obviously, I'm beyond that. I'm not one that's looking to tongue kiss like random women, and you'll have it's like I don't witness it. You'll have the ones in the group like, oh, like I totally like stuck my tongue down like 10 different women's throats. It's like, did you really? And it's like, who cares,
And what were the quality of those kisses?
Right, exactly. But yeah, I give my flowers out to the kids,
Ain't
maybe
blue
some older ladies, and it's the kisses are like the slightest little pecks on the cheek. It's not like I'm tongue, mouth to mouth kissing ladies and stuff. No.
Any blue hairs to take the dentures out?
Yeah.
I've seen this parade, and I've seen let's say enthusiasm for some of the patrons to get flowers and give kisses in exchange for the flowers. And yeah, the blue hairs, they love.
Come here, Sonny.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I mean it's still light. It's still just like light hug, light peck on the cheek. It's not, but
you want to be polite
yes,
to them, but also you don't want to like I said, play tonsil hockey with a blue hair or some ugly heathen.
Yeah. And it's even my first time marching was still COVID times, and I had a roll of these kiss stickers, like lips, that the kids love that because it's like we were trying not to touch people, and so it's COVID. So I'd rip off a bunch of stickers and give those to the kids, and they were like sticking them on everybody and everything. So, just something creative. And so anyway, the parade actually starts at noon. I think Argus is going to march at like 11 because they'll be in front of us. It's like, I don't know where the hell they're lining all this up. Because, I mean, we start at Rummel and we go all the way up Severn to Metairie Road, and then we go Metairie Road all the way down past Langenstein's. It's like a 3-mile route. And that usually gets over about 4 o'clock-ish. And then we get, I forgot, a bus brings us out there. So we meet at the bar, a bus brings us all the way down there. The bus brings us back. And then we have an after party. So... And that's anyone's invited to that. It's at Trudeau Tavern. And, they have drink specials. They have cheap Jameson and Stella on draft, stuff like that. Like I think it's like $2 Stella.
so we can crash this party?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll send you the flyer. Well, they're trying to make it a thing, like because the bar got purchased by a guy named Brandon, so he calls it B's Trudeau Tavern now, and it's like his flyer. I think it says like second annual Shenanigans and Shamrocks party or something like, or Shamrocks and Shenanigans. So, yeah, and then it's pretty much till whenever. I mean, it's on Sunday, but it's usually because it's a long day. Usually by sundown, it's everybody's kind of pretty much dead because halfway through the route, it was been super hot the last 2 years, like 80 degrees, sweating. And I mean, I stopped drinking like halfway through because I just I couldn't drink another beer walking down the route. And they even buy us pizza, Mark Twain's Pizza. They do that.
It's good pizza.
They order that ahead. So like when we get to that kind of area, like one year we stopped for like a good 30 minutes. For some reason, the parade was stopped and it was like we all got to grab pizza. I was like, oh, geez, I probably still have stains on my shirt from all the freaking grease dripping down me. But yeah, it's a long day. It's we keep saying we love to say it's a marathon, not a sprint. So but there's random things that get passed around, mead, things that people have in unmarked containers. They're like, oh, try this and drugs. No, thankfully that I know of. But one of the guys makes he calls it a green demon. Of course, it's a green colored concoction, and supposedly there's a splash of Everclear in it, stuff like that, and everybody knows Felix makes a mean green demon, and so stuff like that. So it's a fun day.
All right. So if you're out at the St. Patrick's Day parade on Sunday, look for Sean marching with the crew of Zeus marchers.
Yeah. And I think we're fifth this year, which is the furthest back we've been. Like we get voted on. Like they have people hidden in the crowd and they vote on this stuff. And last year we were actually first, and for some reason, new regime or something, there's all these politics that they think of why we came in fifth this time and whatever. It's like we're still in the parade. It's not like we get kicked out of the parade.
That's typically how parades work. But I mean, do you have any? Do you guys have like a beer tap truck in front of you that's serving like really good Irish beer? Well,
that's the two. So we have a guy actually that's what he does is he'll fill up. We go up to the side of it and he'll give us like fresh like Stella or something out of the keg. We even have like a treasure chest on the back of the thing that has all kinds of random stuff. You can run up to it and get anything from alcohol, water. I mean, whatever.
I'm a little bit jealous though because I've noticed that some of these trucks have like Killian's Irish Red and Guinness. Like
a lot of older dudes in the crew, and they for some reason they love Stella. It's like Stella. Like I have a Stella Artois mirror that I won at one of our events that's hanging in my bedroom now, like one of those like bar mirrors. I won it from like winning a cornhole toss. And it's like, hey, it's a nice mirror, but it's got Stella Artois written on it.
Stella's good, but it's
solid.
It's no Killian's.
It's interesting that they picked that for the route.
What?
Like for
What? You making a face at it? Killian's Irish Red is. I'd say that's maybe a top 5 beer for me.
We already said the top 5 beers is coming. So let's. It's a matter of when, not if.
Let's bookmark that for a later date.
How about this? Just do it next episode.
That sounds good.
That is top of mind. We just top 5 what? Local? Top 5 beers?
Top 5 favorite beers.
I think Russell was kind of agreeing with me, but yeah, let's do that.
Listen,
there was no expression on my face whatsoever.
I'm not opposed to your take on Killian's. I just feel like Killian's versus Stella is like a
what?
It's like apples to oranges. They're not in the same category to be
the different styles.
Yeah, different styles of beer.
They are, but I mean.
Well, the thing is, that's what's funny is Stella's not really a Irish beer. It's
taps, but like on the parade route before, and I was like, man,
that's fine. But don't make a face at me when I'm quote unquote make a face when you're talking about Killian's being better than Stella. They're two different things. That's like saying
it's not Irish. I think
exactly. My point is that's like trying to say, hey, what's better, a Dodge Ram or a pontoon boat? They're both modes of transportation. They're completely different.
That's like saying what's better, Mountain Dew or Diet Coke or something.
No,
I thought you were gonna say like a Dodge Ram or a Toyota Tacoma or something like that. I mean, if I threw a pontoon boat out there at me,
they're completely different styles of beer.
I think
they don't.
I
think these arguments between Pat and Todd are going to become like a regular segment on the show.
Stella like almost a domestic? Stella's like basically a domestic. I mean, if it's got that French name, but isn't it made like distributed by Budweiser or something?
Yeah, I
or
think so.
Well,
it's basically local. It's,
that's just the distributor aspect, not so much where it's
Man, Stella is
brewed.
God.
but right. But I mean,
God.
it's kind of like Leinenkugel's made in Minnesota or something like that. It's like it's got a fancy name, but it's not really a foreign beer or something like that.
That's true.
It's Milwaukee. Newman, you love some Line and Kugel, right?
Yeah, I did. All right, so Sean, in addition to marching in Zeus on St. Patrick's Day, you also have something else you'd like to talk about that is coming up.
Oh, so the golf tournament, March 29th. I mean, I'm looking at four lovely gentlemen here. If y'all want to put a foursome in,
Wait, quick question: are we getting paid for the advertisement of these events for him?
I don't know how am I paying y'all?
I'm just wondering. I didn't know if we took any income in for allowing.
And cock rings.
Hey, easy.
Hey, I'm walking on a parade route. I can easily hand out stickers. I'm just saying.
Sean, talk your shit. Go ahead.
Travel ball.
This is about you.
So should we enter a golf team in this tournament?
I'm all about that.
I do not have any clubs or anything.
Is
mean,
it a
I-
scramble
look-
tournament? Or?
Look,
It
Russell,
is, yes.
Wait,
I'm
all right,
all
hold
about
on.
this too, and I've never played
Hold
a
on.
fucking round of
Let's
golf.
let's let Sean get through the explanation and the promotion or whatever of this event, and then let's talk about how horrible a foursome of us jackasses would be at golf.
It'd be,
We'd
it'd be
be
fun
last.
though, right?
We'd be dead last.
Well, let me preface that this is the golf tournament to be in if you don't give a shit about golf. Okay, it's like a party on a golf course
I think we might be in.
because I mean, for me being board involved and all that, we get there pretty early, like 8 in the morning. But the actual tournament, I think it's like 11 is when you get a burger for lunch from Step Brothers, like yeah, it's a burger lunch, and then then the golf starts. You get a gift bag too. I forget what we're putting in it. I think the gift bag.
rings?
Oh, it's a koozie. It's like it's one of those metal koozie / tumblers. It's like a 3-in-1 type thing. I know it's gonna have we have a logo like I don't know if y'all ever see me wearing the
The
polo.
tournament logo, like LaSalle or
No,
Maurice.
it's got the tournament is the Gus Pamelia golf tournament. It's named after a former president of the club from like the 90s, and it's like the 26th.
Does it have the coach's name on it or anything?
Well, just this guy Gus's.
Oh, I don't think the travel ball.
No.
The
No.
coach's name on them. It's okay. Go ahead.
Is this fundraising or is this charity?
It's fundraising, yeah, because from the money raised from the tournament, the first 3,000 of it goes to 2 scholarships for one seventh grade boy, one seventh grade girl. They each get a $1,500 scholarship. I don't know the full criteria of how they pick them every year, but so the first 3,000 goes to that, and then the rest goes into our fundraising bank account, kind of thing. So I was saying that, you get a burger for lunch, then we do the shotgun start, which is like, say, I think 12 to 4, 12 to 5, something like that. But you have some of the wives that drive carts around and bring you, drinks on the route. You can stuff your carts full of beer. I think they're going all out this year. I think we even have, we usually have a bar in the morning that you can make Bloody Marys and things like that. But then I think there's even a cigar bar that's going to be out there, just like totally donated, whatever. It's like, wait, we can just walk up and take cigars. Like, holy crap! And then there's usually a bar halfway through, like about the 9th hole. And the thing is we usually play like maybe 6 holes, and that's like usually like we'll hit a couple of balls and like, all right, let's just keep going, whatever, and like not even completely finish the holes. And it's like, we see the bar ahead, and it's like we just immediately go there, and then an hour and a half later, we're like, shouldn't we continue playing golf? And it's just a lot of drinking and cutting up. And, we definitely don't play like a full 18 holes of golf.
I'm assuming this is a par as your friend tournament.
Yes. I think if you already hit par, you're supposed to pick up and go to the next hole. And scramble format, if you're familiar with that, it's best ball. So 4 of you tee off, you're supposed to play the best ball. And it gets to the point where like a couple of people aren't even hitting the ball anymore. It's like, whatever. It's just like drive to the next one.
Which course is this at?
It's usually at Lakewood, but this year it's going to be at Timberlane,
Nice.
all in the West Bank. But yeah, we normally do General Legal. Got double booked, so we had to go somewhere else. So we're going to be at Timberlane this year. So And so anyway, after the actual golf is done, then you get a steak dinner, and this is all at the place. Meaning the steaks come from Randazzo's on Service Road over there. But steak and potatoes, and then after that, we finally go, of course, then that's the end of the actual golf tournament. But of course, we all go to Step Brothers after, and are there until they kick us out, basically. So it's an all day thing. We turn it into an all day thing.
Okay, you don't need to sell us any more on this.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
when are we
might
signing
need to
up?
be in.
How much does it cost to enter a team?
I believe a team without a sponsor, like they have whole sponsors. Like I think with the foursome with a sponsor, it's 600. Without the sponsor, it's like 550. So divide that by 4, basically.
Okay.
And when I say that, like we did, because I have me and 3 other board guys that we kind of like by consolation made a team last year, and I think it was almost like our team was going to be Pube, like PEWB or something, but it ended up being Pebs, whatever. But we have a sign that says "Brought to you by the Pebs" or something. And people are like, who the hell is that?
We already got our name. The wasted bag.
All right.
But there you go. If you for 600 with the sponsor, you will get a Wasted Wagons, as a sponsorship, and you can give them. I can let them know, give them the logo.
We need to LLC immediately so that we can then write this off as our as a tax donation, as a tax write off. I don't want to derail this conversation, but I'm glad you got the promotion of it and talking about the event out of the way. Todd, when was the last time you swung a golf club? Putt does not count. Excluding putt. When's the last time you had a golf club in your hand and hit a ball? Or attempted?
Does Loft 18 count?
Yes, I'll allow that.
Wait, are we saying
shit,
swung a club and hit a ball, or just swung a club?
I'm hoping he made contact. So
I
I'm going to
made
assume that
contact,
he made
but-
contact with the ball when he swung
But
the club.
it was not on an actual course. It was Loft 18, and it was probably 2 years ago.
Travis?
I mean, I've played a round of golf with a future pod guest. It would be Bob Whitman. It was a while,
Mr. Rummel.
but that was. I mean, geez, that I've been going from Rummel for 8 years, so it was at least 8 years ago. But then I've also played at Loft 18 and the one that used to exist in Clearview Mall that closed.
Patrick,
I missed that one.
if you think-
That one was cool in Clearview.
if you think we're gonna do good,
No, just let me
You're really thinking out of
let
the
me
box
let me
here.
run with this here. Russell, when was the last time you hit a golf club?
So I do. Excuse me. I'm in an organization called the LGA, Louisiana Gas.
Yeah. Just answer the question. When's the last time you hit a golf club?
Russell's like,
How long ago?
last Tuesday.
It's not God.
Okay, last year. So I swung a club last year at Christmas.
So me and Travis are lagging here.
Patrick didn't say where he swung a club or what he swung one at.
Or who?
Might have been a cock ring. You don't hear that.
Or at? Did you swing the club at a human, or
That's a great question, Sean.
it wasn't even on a golf
It
course?
was a golf course in Houston over Christmas last year. So I swung a golf club. I played a couple holes with my brother-in-law just to bond and to see if I still knew how the fuck to do this, right? So you figure par on a course is probably 72. Average hole is like a par 4. I'm trying to think how many shots it would take for us playing best ball to get on the green.
Yuck. Yikes.
I think that's feasible almost every hole except the par fives.
Yeah, I agree. I'm trying to picture if you let Todd, I'm gonna pick on you. Sorry, if you let Todd,
I've never played on an actual fucking course, so I already know I'm gonna do terrible. So
look, Russell would be carrying all of us. I would be doing moderate help to him. I think we're gonna be picking you up the most, but listen.
probably right.
Oh wait, let me just say real quick that it's not. This one is like people like at most golf tournaments, like the carts, or you get your own cart when you sign up, and they have the things to put the golf bags and stuff on. But there's people that don't even show up with clubs; they borrow other people's. One guy who was my partner of like the foursome we were in, he brought 2 clubs. He brought a driver and a putter, And there's a picture of him like holding him like an X like that.
My man.
And he's like, "Those are my 2 clubs. I came ready to play golf." Right?
Okay, this sounds like our speed. Then I think we could sign up for this and present well at this.
And also, don't worry about winning because
Don't give a shit about that.
There's a foursome of old guys that claim they like shoot like a 55 every year, and there's this one guy. Well, this is at our old one. We're waiting to see how they're going to be at this new one at Timberlane. But I swear, there's this par 3 every year that this guy claims he hits a hole in one. Every year, it's like, oh, okay, Tiger Woods has hit a hole in one like 3 times in his entire career, but this dude hits a hole in one every year at freaking Lakewood. Like, okay, sure.
Every single scramble I have ever played in, at least half the teams are cheating or lying about shooting.
Oh yeah,
birdies
it's on an
and-
honor
yeah.
system. They even have like a longest drive where you're supposed to move the pin if you hit it further than that pin and write your name on it. It's like, who the hell's watching? There's no honor system is
Listen,
ridiculous.
the Wasted Wagons would absolutely cheat in this golf tournament. I'm putting it out there right now.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
We would also challenge anyone to who has the most fun. I personally would be interested in out drinking the other teams per hole or for the event.
Let me just say, there's I don't know if I've sent y'all the flyer, but there's a version of the flyer where we have one of our members on top of a golf cart. Like he took a picture of him lining up his golf shot, and he's standing on a golf cart, and we were messing and saying that was going to be the flyer for this year.
Challenge accepted.
I mean,
We can top that.
Of course, one gets knocked over or two. We did have one that ended up in the lake last year. I'm not going to name any names.
A golf cart?
Yes, like I didn't witness it. I heard about it, and
I would stop short of that happening because I don't want that on my record.
Pretty much.
But I would encourage that to
the end
to
of
happen.
every golf tournament, like when we have our board meeting after and we recap things, it's like we have to go, all right, they said we're welcome back next year. It's like we have to like whew, all right, check that off the list that we're like worried that we're going to get kicked out for next year.
What was the date of this tournament?
March 29th.
yeah, Russell's already got his calendar out.
Look, this is done deal. We're doing this.
Look, I'm fine doing it.
Slow down, Trevor.
I'm just going to tell you, I suck. The part of me wanting to do it is the fact that we probably could
And
petitionally outdrink these guys. So
I should add that
Yes.
not that you have to, but some teams like that are do it every year. They even made like matching shirts, and the best one team has polo shirts that say "I'm here for the foursome."
Well, we have matching shirts and it just says Wasted Wagons Podcast.
I think we need to buy some checkered long pants to all
Oh,
wear as
like
well.
what's the
Golf.
company that makes the golf pants that are
the
all
tight checkered golf pants.
Yeah.
No,
Golf requires
The ones that
goofy
cover-
pants and a
Some
fat
Happy
ass.
Gilmore.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know
yeah,
what the name
loudmouth.
is. Yeah.
Loudmouth golf. We just get a pair of those, and they come in all different colors and
You think
styles.
Chubbies would make
Probably.
Personally
some
message
tight
them.
ass golf pants?
We all need to get a Russell style Wasted Wagons cap made too.
Well, Russell's a senior member. He could probably you have to have a contact at Chubby you can reach out to.
I am like the highest status of rewards
Yeah.
member.
Yeah. All right. So apparently you guys have seen some movies lately that you want to talk about. So Russell, go ahead and give us your review of the movie that you saw and tell us a little bit about how this went down.
All right, so I recently went and saw the movie Mickey 17, and I don't know if y'all are familiar with that, but it's
Robert Pattinson,
Robert
right?
Pattinson. It's based off of a book, and I believe the name of the book was Mickey 7. But the general plot is the main character, Robert Pattinson, signs up for this expedition into outer space to try and find like a new planet to inhabit. As an expendable. So essentially the whole thing's kind of about some morality and discussion on like what happens to your consciousness if you get printed out, because that's what the movie does. Like they keep on printing him out. The main character is the 17th version of his name's Mickey. So and then the big thing that happens in it is there's rules in place to where if he dies, only another copy can be made if he dies. They think he's dead, and he's really not, and they print another copy, so there's 2 of them. And there's just a bunch of moral ambiguity that kind of happens with that. So overall, I was actually a little disappointed when I walked out of the movie. I had pretty high expectations for it. And I think I just went into it and didn't fully understand, or I expected something different. It went in a different direction than I thought, and I was disappointed for that reason. So after I sat on it some time, I actually went and did like a little research to try and fully understand the message that was being told. And I was like, okay, no, that's like a little bit better now. I appreciate the movie. It's definitely not for everybody. It's pretty out there. It's man, who's the director of Parasite and Snowpiercer?
I'm not sure on that one.
Wait, what movie are you talking about?
Mickey 17.
Mickey 17.
Wait, what is it?
Mickey 17.
Bong Joon-ho.
Was that one of like the Oscar nominated movies or?
This is a brand new movie that I just went and saw.
It's got
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson in it.
Parasite won a bunch of awards, which is this. I'm talking about the director Bong Joon. I'm probably butchering this name.
Bong Joon-ho.
Bong Joon-ho. He directed Snowpiercer. He directed Parasite. Parasite
Bing
won
bong.
a ton of awards. So this was like supposed to be his next best thing.
Did you say he was a nice young ho?
Nice young ho? Yes, you heard me correct. But yeah, no, it's
Like a certain kicker for the Atlanta Falcons.
Young Hoku.
My young ho cool.
Yeah, we're
What?
talking about bad teammates right here.
He's well behaved compared to others.
yeah. Where's Mike at?
I'm sorry, I can't.
Mike.
Mike called in sick today.
Mike, we miss
He
you.
actually literally called in
Yeah,
sick
he
today.
did call in sick. Ooh.
Oh, there he is. Welcome back, Mike.
That's just wrong, Pat.
I didn't do that.
All right, so
God did.
I mean, I apologize. My eyeballs were floating, so I had to go.
your balls were floating.
My eyeballs were floating. I had to go take care of that, and I came in, and the subject had changed.
That
so-
was not the image
That-
that, went
that-
into my head.
That's such an old person term. My eyeballs were floating.
never
I
heard
have
of
not
that
heard that in
I get that from
15,
my dad.
20 years.
My dad always says that. Yeah.
So how many hearts, Russell?
Coming out of it initially, I probably would have given it 3 out of 5. Knowing what I know now, and after letting it sit, I'd say a good let's go 3.75.
Okay.
How many floating eyeballs?
It's 2 eyeballs out of 2.
Oh, okay.
No, I encourage everybody to watch it. Maybe not necessarily in the theater. I think it would have been a better watch, kind of just for free, quote unquote, on a streaming service. But definitely, maybe check out what it's about before going into it, so you're not disappointed.
I'm not a big movie guy, so take my opinion of this with a grain of salt. After you told me the movies you were going to go see, I kind of went and looked at the trailer for it and the IMDb. I made it 7 seconds into the trailer, and I'm like,
Nope.
This-
I actually thought it was one of the better looking previews of the recent movies, and I would have considered going and see it. And I'll probably take Russell's advice on that and wait till it becomes available on a streaming service.
Yeah, I definitely think everybody should watch, but maybe just not in the theater.
I mean, we saw Love Hurts I saw Love Hurts with Travis and Easy, and it was. And I thought it looked actually pretty funny, so I was like, yeah, I kind of want to see that.
I mean, I'm not saying the movie didn't look good from like a cinematic standpoint, but just what I saw in the story part, I was like 7 seconds. I was like, I don't think this is the movie for me. I might still, well, I probably won't try it, but it looks. I don't doubt that it's probably better than what the trailer showed in terms of my appeal to it.
So that was my issue. Like I went into it knowing the trailer, thinking it was going to be this like really cool comedy, and I mean, it was a comedy, but it's definitely more of a I don't want to say think piece, but like it's portraying a message, and there's certain characters that are portraying real life people that it's pretty funny that they do that. But all the comedy that I thought was going to happen with like him dying a bunch of times and getting to his 17th iteration. It happens like very, very quickly, and they kind of glaze through it, and then it's all about 17 and 18 being alive at the same time.
Okay. Now, did you attend this movie with anybody?
I did. I went with my buddy Brett, which I believe everybody has met at the Mike Tyson fight. He was over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like Brett.
Yeah, good dude.
But was it bottomless popcorn?
It was not bottomless popcorn.
The question had to be asked. Sorry.
I mean, if it
Thanks,
was,
Mike.
that's okay. That's okay. That's your thing.
That's asshole Mike asking that question.
Someone's got to pick
Someone
up
had
his
to
slack.
channel him.
Yeah.
All right. So 3.75 out of 5 hearts for Russell.
Bong Joon-ho.
Mickey 17.
Bong
Now,
Joon-ho.
On our first interview, we'd interviewed professional wrestler PJ Hawks, and he was actually in this movie that Todd is going to give us a little review on. So Todd, take it away.
Yeah, so I watched a movie called Simplify that PJ actually explained to us his role when he was on the podcast. So the movie is basically about 5 Marines who are friends, and 2 of them are basically half brothers. PJ was explaining his role in the movie as he was just some bar patron that ends up dying by hitting his head on a urinal. But what he didn't really explain is that he was kind of the reason. He was kind of the reason that the movie kind of got going. He was the catalyst to get the movie going. So the guy Nat Wolff, who is, I guess, kind of the co-star of the movie. I think Jai Courtney was maybe the main star of the movie. He's his half brother. So he ends up PJ and another kid come in there, and they're pushing him around while he's pissing in the bathroom stall, and he ends up shoving PJ, and he falls and hits his head in the urinal and dies. But he ends up going to prison for it. So the rest of the crew ends up going to Iraq while he's in jail, and Jai Courtney ends up feeling guilty because he thinks that he shouldn't be in jail for serving, or at least serving time for the fact that it was self-defense because they were pushing on him while he was pissing, you know.
Where his eyeballs floating.
He had blood coming out of his ear, so that. So overall, what I'll say is the movie started out really good. Like it ended up really intriguing me about this band of brothers that's kind of stuck together through over the years, and they were close knit. What I really felt was kind of shitty about the movie was that. What happened here?
There was something in the background.
So what I really felt was kind of shitty about the movie was that they tried to break this guy out of jail, and I was like, this seems a little far-fetched to me. You know, they're transporting him from one prison to another, and like, oh, we're gonna break this guy out, and we're gonna try and get him free. And it's like, well, that just doesn't really make sense to me. You know, they're gonna break him out from a boss that's transporting him to Canada, and I don't know. So the movie overall, for the first half of the movie, it was really good. And then when they tried to break him out and then transport him into or free him from a jail and prison, or free him from the boss that was transporting him from a jail and prison, it was kind of stupid. I'd probably give it maybe 2.2 hearts, maybe 2.3.
But how would you rate PJ in the movie for the brief time period he was there?
I mean, he was. Look, what I will say about PJ is he
don't be biased now. Give us a real.
PJ kind of downplayed his part in the movie because he was just like, oh, you know, I was just this guy in a bar fight and I died in the movie and I hit my head on the urinal. PJ was actually, you know, the catalyst to why the co-main character was going to jail. PJ did well. You know, he was only in like two or three different scenes, but you know he died. You know, and
he definitely
died.
made it he
died convincingly.
In the interview with him, he definitely kind of tried like he was trying to downplay his role, and he was like, "Oh, I was in this one scene."
But
where
if you remember, he said he didn't even remember his name. His name was Ben Daly. So he actually had a name in the movie. He wasn't just some bar patron. You know, his name was Ben Daly.
Bar patron number 2.
So he basically, him and his friend are pushing on Nat Wolff's character in the movie, and then he ends up like punching him, and he falls and hits his head on the urinal. He's got blood dripping out of his ear, and he dies.
So did the movie go downhill after he died? I mean, I know you said
not necessarily right after he died, but probably about a good 30 minutes after. I'd say when they start to transport the character and they're coming up with the plan to, oh, we're gonna break him out. Like Jai Courtney's like, I feel guilty. He doesn't deserve to be serving time. We're gonna go break him out. I was like, oh, this is fucking stupid. That's never gonna happen in real life. So I would say it's about a 2.2, 2.3 out of 5 hearts. It started out really good. When you have this band of Marines sticking together, they're friends. 2 of them are half brothers. You're like, all right, I get it. The camaraderie. It seems like a pretty good movie. When you're like, oh, you're gonna break him out of jail, it's like this is completely fucking unrealistic, you know.
That just happens every day. We just break people out of jail and.
Yeah, I mean, you don't hear that on the news. Like, oh yeah, they broke this guy out of jail, and the guy actually makes it. Like he gets broken off the bus, and he succeeds in making it across the Canada border. So
So
Unrealistic is what I guess
So-
what I'm saying.
once PJ dies, I can turn the movie off, basically.
Maybe about 15 to 20 minutes after PJ dies.
Why is it called Semper Fi?
The Marines.
The
They were-
Marine-
they were all
They were
Marines,
just in
all of
Marines.
them.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a little misleading. Thinking it's like more centered around the Marines.
So
or
even
something.
like before PJ dies, they show him at like drill. like,
Oh,
before.
okay.
Did you cry when PJ died?
No, but I was like, man, that fucking sucks. It's literally 20 minutes into the fucking movie. Spoiler alert, you know.
And you
Did
rented it
you-
for him.
Did you pour one out for the homie?
Huh?
Did you pour one out for PJ when he died?
I might have been drinking something.
What were you drinking when you were watching this?
Probably a
Tully-
beer. Maybe
Tully?
a lime cucumber goza that's probably got in the fridge. Sorry, PJ, if you don't like
a
lime.
fitting drink
I know
for
you're a Coke drinker, PJ, but it was probably lime cucumber goza.
You know what? That makes sense. A fitting drink for a all equally fitting shitting movie.
Anyway, so like I said, the movie started out really good. It ended shitty. The plot was kind of unbelievable. Probably a little more than halfway through. Yeah, 2.3 hearts
Out of 3.
out of 5.
Well, that's not good. Not good.
It's almost halfway.
Still not good though.
All right, y'all. So we're going to close out this episode with some sports talk. There's been a lot of talk in the NFL world today, as a matter of fact, between the humongous contract that was signed by Myles Garrett to where two of the big name wide receivers that were on the market got landed today, and Devontae Adams and DK Metcalf. Does anybody have anything they would like to add on those topics?
Can we talk about the memes that
Huge.
followed the Myles Garrett signing? I mean, they had the Flex Seal memes where it's like, oh, I want to go to a team that's winning, and then they slap the fucking Flex Seal on it. It's like, okay, I'll stay.
And it says what, like 200
Full-
million?
yeah, what was it? Like, what was his ridiculous contract?
4 years, 160 million extension. I haven't seen the memes. I
Money
was kind
talks.
I was kind of in and out of watching something on TV and taking a nap, but then like the breaking news ticker came across on Fox, and I was thinking it was something else that they reported about maybe another player getting hurt or something like that. But then I saw Myles Garrett pop up. I'm like, oh, cool. Someone made a deal to finally trade him.
Somebody wanted him. Huh?
And yeah, and then it shows 4 year, $160 million extension to stay with the Browns. I was like, what the? Like, I thought he wanted out. Well, he may still want out, but I guess $30 million a year will change your opinion about
Yeah.
wanting to leave.
No, it's almost like Magic Johnson with his AIDS. You know,
Whoa.
it's like money. It's like money. It's like money. Money has cured his AIDS. Money cured Myles
It's a
Garrett's
fantastic South
you can
Park
see
episode
it.
about that.
Money cures AIDS.
They injected Myles Garrett with some money.
Honestly,
That's
yeah.
exactly what happened, actually.
Oh, my fever instantly went away now that I got all this money. I'm fan
Yeah,
myself.
there you go. Where's the gif of him like wiping his tears with the cash?
So does this officially make him the highest paid non-quarterback right
Yes, he is the
imagine
highest
it
paid
does, right?
non-quarterback player in the NFL.
now? And it's crazy because Crosby literally just signed his contract a couple days ago, and now his has already been topped.
Well, it's kind of like this is not really new in the NFL. Like every quarterback that's up for a deal will eventually be the highest paid until the next quarterback is up, and now you see it with the receivers now. Justin Jefferson, I think, is the highest paid receiver, but Jamar Chase is due
get
for a
his,
deal,
yeah.
so he will probably be the highest paid, maybe even if it's only by like $1 or $1,000, whatever the case may be. So this is nothing really new, but yeah, Max Crosby, the ink hasn't dried on his deal being signed, and now he's
I already know what Todd's gonna fucking say.
But hasn't Jamar Chase, future guest on the pod, already said that he's looking for extra money?
It said he wants to top Justin Jefferson by at least $1.
yeah,
Is what he said.
Future guest on the pod.
I think he said a penny. Right?
yeah.
Jamar, if you're listening,
And I think that's the thing you have to say as
Mr. Olivier wants you on the pod.
that's something you have to say just for the sake of getting the money that you are owed relative to your position and your peers. But he's also said that, well, Joe Burrow has said that he would consider redoing his contract to be able to sign Jamar and T to keep that team together. And continue with the football talk, the Bengals, who are notoriously cheap, are told Trey Hendrickson, you're free to go look and seek a trade because we may not be able to pay you or we won't pay you, however the case may work out, though.
Which essentially keeps the Bengals kind of right where they are because, I mean, their offense is already really good. They've said they've already franchise tagged T. Higgins. They're going to pay Jamar Chase. Burrow's already under contract.
And
they just re-signed Gesicki to a 3-year deal, too. So they're keeping their offense intact, but then they're not going to pay their best defensive player. So it's going to be like you're in the same situation where you have a really good offense and a really bad defense.
Right. And I kind of heard differing opinions on both sides of this because one opinion said, well, you were one of the worst defenses in the league with him on your team, so maybe why not trade him, get some more assets that might be able to help the overall quality of your team. Yeah. But the other side said, well, if you are bad already, how much worse are you going? You're going to be substantially worse if you get rid of your best defensive players. So it's a tough spot. And again, the Bengals are notoriously frugal with money and paying players. So this isn't anything out of the norm. But I think you had to, at the very least, appease Joe Burrow and get Chase locked up and put Higgins on the franchise tag, and maybe Hendricks is going to be the casualty that results this. But you can't afford to.
He's God.
I know a place that would gladly take him back.
No.
if we had money to pay him.
Yeah, if we had like $100 million to sign him.
Right. Well, we need 38-40 million just to break even, to be even on the cap. So
we're not a Trey Hendrickson away.
we're not even just a new GM away, unfortunately.
So how bad are we going to be next year? 3 wins?
No, we'll be better than that. 5 to 7.
Yeah.
I mean,
if Carr stays healthy, 7-10.
I mean, that's probably right because I mean we'll split with the Panthers. We hopefully will win both, but let's be realistic. The way we play, we'll split with them.
This year, and they were awful.
Yeah. The Panthers look like more like a team on the rise, where the Saints are going to be kind of in full rebuild mode.
Well, yeah. I mean, you look at Bryce Young, and he sort of seemed to kind of turn the corner and
he kind of got it together,
and get it together and figure some things out. They need to protect him and get him some help at receiver. So, I think the Panthers are not going to be world beaters, but I think they feel much more comfortable going into next season than they did the year before when they know like, hey, our quarterback gets it now, and he's still on a rookie deal, so there's some time and some opportunities for them.
Is it bad that I want to see him succeed?
No, because there are players on other teams that I like and I want them to do well, and they might be direct adversaries to the Saints. I wanted, the Florida Gator who was on the Falcons, Kyle Pitts. I wanted Kyle Pitts to do well because he was a Gator. Shut up.
Trash. That ship has sailed.
I agree with that. I'm just saying when he came out of Florida, I wanted him to do well despite him being a Falcon.
I mean, how many Mississippi State guys have come out that have sucked? I mean, look,
all of them.
I don't want to say Jonathan Abrams
They all
sucked, but
suck.
the Saints.
the cornerback that the Commanders drafted in the first round 2 years ago, they already cut him, and he was picked up by the Rams, I believe. So
yeah.
So
he was damn good in college.
If it's not Fletcher Cox, I don't want to talk about him.
Speaking of the Rams, they signed Devontae Adams today. I don't know how that really helps them all that much compared to where they were already. I don't know how much.
That's what I want to know is like how much are they saving over Cooper Kupp to get Devontae Adams, because I'm sure he's still a big high priced receiver.
I don't know the number that he signed for with the Jets, but I think it's substantially less than what Kupp was going to get. Wow. I'm talking like maybe $4 to $10 million a year cheaper.
Oh,
so
that makes sense then.
I think that's what it was. It wasn't like they needed an upgrade or anything like that. I think just the money worked out better to release Kupp and not have his huge salary on the books. And Adams was a relatively inexpensive option to replace him.
Right.
They were going to cut Cup no matter what, or he was going to be going no matter what. Adams just seems like a still fairly productive replacement for him that fits the cap number. But Cup was going to be gone because of the cap no matter what.
You know, I think it's I think they're about equal in age, but I think either way you look at it, I think it's still, as long as he stays healthy, Puka Nacua is still going to probably be their number one moving forward.
100%.
As you know, we got our friend in our fantasy league who kind of thinks like a GM, so he might be a good addition to our podcast to kind of discuss these issues.
You're talking about Doug?
No, I'm talking about Matt Batty.
Oh, okay. Because both of them act like GMs, just in opposite ends of the spectrum, where one of them likes really young players and the other one likes really old players. So
That sounds like that speaks to something else I don't really want to get into on air. But
yeah.
okay.
It's another one that we just got news of. Is the Steelers were going to be trading for DK Metcalf, which that's interesting news to me, just because of the fact that now you have probably two of the biggest egos at wide receiver playing together in Metcalf and Pickens. So I'm kind of curious to see how that partnership pans out.
I feel like DK Metcalf would literally walk up to George Pickens, grab him by the throat, and start punching him in the face if he didn't.
I don't think Pickens is as established as he likes to think he is.
No, he thinks way too highly of himself versus what the rest of the rest of the world thinks of him. I think DK Metcalf would come in like, listen, little bro, you're not that. Like, you need to fucking chill out.
I know Travis and Carson are Pickens fans, but that guy kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Like he runs his mouth, and I don't think he's quite as good as he thinks he is.
I mean, the talent is there when he wants to display it, but quite frankly, he seems like he's like a head case. He's very much like a diva without the accolades and or seniority and production to be a diva. Like, for as lunatic as Antonio Brown was, he produced and put up numbers. There's a bunch of shithead receivers in the league, but they produce. He has shown flashes of being really good and really talented, but he's the other stuff seems to take over more than his production and play on the field, which is why they always.
He doesn't even seem like a team player. Like it seems like he'll throw teammates under the bus like it's nothing.
Right. And at the same time, I could also understand his frustration with the quarterbacks that are thrown to him because he has not had great quarterbacks. So I too would be frustrated if I had a shitty manager when, like, hey, yeah, I can't be my full person of potential because I have a shitty manager leading me and this and that. Like, some of it's on me, but some of it can also be on them too. So a very small percentage of me understands why he might act out and be a certain way. But also, you have to be a professional and just do your job and produce and contribute and not really do some of the things that he's done.
What's the Steelers quarterback situation going to be?
They still in the air. They haven't decided if they're going to bring back Wilson and or Fields. So it's TBD. So
if you ask the New Orleans Barstool page, they think that Justin Fields is coming here. So
I wouldn't mind that. Tell you the truth.
I mean, look, I think the dude has potential. I think he can.
No, I would love him to come here, but I think we can keep dreaming on that.
I'd much rather him than Carr.
But I mean, do you think that our salary cap can squeeze him in?
I don't. Our salary cap couldn't squeeze me in on the roster.
But I don't think Fields is got a high demand as far as his money right now.
Carr, huh?
But we're committed to Carr for this year apparently. So
I don't know. I could understand Fields coming here or going anywhere because you get the flashes of talent, but like you see him in college and he did so well in college at the Ohio State University, and then it hasn't really translated to the NFL. But he also had a horrible coaching system and a horrible team that he was playing behind.
Anybody that winds up in that cesspool in Chicago, I mean, it's just it's a failure just meant to be.
Right, and he came into Pittsburgh competing for a job with a veteran and
a guy who you knew was already going to start.
Yeah, but like I think the knock on Fields at the time was that he was too conservative. Like he was afraid to make a mistake because he didn't want to lose his job or lose the chance at being a starter. So he played more conservative when he's the kind of talent who should just kind of rip it a little bit. And he has the athleticism to run.
I think he could be a dual threat.
Yeah, but he seems to, from everyone says, he seems to miss the deep shot or the home run balls, and he's more afraid to throw those passes because of maybe he's not seeing it or he just doesn't want to take that risk. So that's kind of the concern with him. But I still think he would be a great competition to Carr coming in. But kind of keeping on the football side, so the Seahawks have gotten rid of Geno Smith. He went to the Raiders, and now DK Metcalf. They look like they're in a full rebuild.
And Tyler Lockett. He's going too, right?
Tyler Lockett, he hasn't gone anywhere yet, but he's he's scheduled.
But saying their quarterback and their wide receiver 1 and 2 basically are dumped, and
So they're in complete rebuild.
Going back to tying into the Steelers, Russell Wilson, like there's speculation that Russell Wilson could reunite with Pete Carroll in Vegas because they need a quarterback, and maybe it's only a 1 year like stopgap situation.
But Vegas just picked up Geno.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. That's right. Well, that was the talk before Geno happened. It was maybe Russell going to Vegas there.
Did Pete Carroll overlap with Geno enough? Like he played for him like as a starter?
He must have, yeah.
Like what, at least 2 years maybe?
Yeah, he was probably back up.
Yeah, because the current coach has only been there for maybe 2 years tops.
I think it was his first year. So then Geno's only been a starter how many years now after Russell Wilson? 3?
It's been at least 30.
I think it's
Probably
3.
3.
2 with the Broncos and the Steelers, so it's 3 years. So,
Yeah.
So he played under Pete Carroll twice.
Yeah.
As a starter, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I that makes sense to do what they're going to do. But
It'll be interesting to see how it works. I know I talked about me wanting the Saints to draft Ted McMillan in the first round, and I'm starting to look like the cards are aligning for the Raiders to do that because I know they were one of the front runners to draft a quarterback, but now that since they got Geno, it looks like they might be kind of gearing towards that receiver pick. So anyway, we'll see. The draft will be interesting. Same on the lines of receivers. The Commanders ended up getting Deebo Samuel for a real steal, I think, with like a 5th round pick or something like that. So so now they have got McLaurin and Deebo Samuel for Jaden Daniels to work with. So that ought to be another interesting move to see how that pans out.
Where did Christian Kirk went somewhere?
Yeah, he just got traded too.
But I remember seeing whoever
the Texans.
he got traded for a 7th round pick. It was like, does that mean anything? Like, what the hell do
That's
teams
a
do with
steal.
7th round picks?
that's like Mr. Irrelevant territory,
Right.
and that's like a steal. If he can be any sort of healthy, and he'll be great for them. But I mean the Texans have just been riddled with injury.
I know that was called Tank Dell's knee is destroyed, so we need another receiver. So
I think at one point all 3 of the receivers have been hurt for that team.
yeah, Diggs was out.
Diggs out for the
too.
season. Dell was hurt, and
Diggs is a free agent. He was only on a 1 year deal.
We drafted Kirk this year, right?
Yeah, and we cut him after like week 2.
He underachieved, so I mean, probably a fair deal.
Well, the whole Jaguars team did. So fair,
Yeah, but I mean, you get a previous star receiver for a 7th rounder, a previous star receiver for a 5th rounder. I mean, I'm looking at the Saints. I would gladly take something like that if it was made available. As a matter of fact, I was telling Sean, it looked like the Eagles had put Dallas Goddard on the market, and they're requesting a 4th round pick.
on the trade block. He's still with them, but I thought that was surprising.
Saints could draft Mason Taylor, though.
Yeah, that's true too. So
the Saints better get really. They better hit home runs in the draft.
I agree.
Because
you need to have a stellar draft this year.
They have to, because unless they rework a deal with Carr to lower his salary hit, worth $38 million or something over the cap. So they're going to have to get extremely creative and do very well in the draft to make anything out of this season. So we're months away from more in-depth Saints talk, but like with free agency starting now, I don't think we're going to be a player at all, because we don't have the room or the ability to do anything. So we're just going to be sitting pat watching other teams getting better while we just kind of.
We're gonna have that meme of us looking through the blinds at the other teams having fun, running by, and we just look sad.
Pretty much.
It's almost tempting to try to trade down and get more draft picks. Like it's if there's nobody that's sitting there that's that high that we really want, it's like you take the trade down, try to get some more picks so we can stock up.
If
You're rebuild, so why not?
if the O line pool is deep enough that you feel like you can do that, then yeah, trade out of what pick will be 9.
9,
Yeah, if you could trade back to, let's say, mid-20s, still get an old lineman and pick up another second-round pick, that probably is the best thing because that's what you need someone to help the most. That in defensive line.
Yeah, you need so many picks. You need an O lineman, a D lineman, a wide receiver. There's just so many needs.
It'd be great if we had more highly valuable and sought-after players that we could use as trade material for more picks to acquire more players. But we also can't fucking get free agents.
Chase Young's already gone, right? Didn't he sign with somebody?
Yeah, I forget where, but he's gone.
I know he was only on a 1-year deal with
I
us.
think it's the Bears. I think he signed with the Bears.
The funny thing is, I think every couple of weeks you see, should the Saints pick up Michael Thomas again, or should the Saints keep Michael Thomas?
He's just like a Des Bryant. There's a reason that he didn't go anywhere and was irrelevant after he left.
Nobody picked him up after we let him go.
Yeah,
So,
even the Denver Saints didn't pick him up. Sean Payton didn't even want him still.
The dude is locker room cancer. Why would anybody want to pick this guy up?
Yeah.
Well, drifting away from NFL, the NHL trade deadline just passed. My Kings didn't make any really sexy moves. They only made one, and they received Kuzmenko from the Philadelphia Flyers for a third-round pick. So it was a pretty good deal we ended up getting, but I would have liked to see a little bit more movement at the deadline to show that they were actually trying to win. So I'm looking at more of it's going to probably be like a first round exit from the playoffs again with the Kings. They'll make the playoffs, but I don't know if they did enough, in my opinion. But Todd, would you like to talk about the trade deadline?
The Sharks fucking suck. I don't know what you want me to say. They first off, I think the trade with Jake Wallman kind of pissed me off because he was hands down, I think they're top defenseman this year. Travis had him on his fantasy team. When he was traded, I was a little bit surprised by that. I don't know how old he is. Obviously, San Jose's in a rebuild, but I thought he was young enough to where you want to kind of keep him as your primary defenseman, knowing that Marc-Edouard Vlasic, who, by the way, broke the NHL block shots all time. He's number one on the list now. So Marc-Edouard Vlasic's a pimp, but he's basically gonna getting to where he's in the age where he's gonna retire. So I would think a Wallman would have been a guy that you'd want to kind of build that defense around. But the one that pissed me off the most was they traded Fabian Zetterlund, and I thought the reason why they acquired him from the Devils was to kind of keep him as one of your primary offensive goal scorers, and he was. Him, Toffoli, and Granlund before they traded him were kind of your top scorers this year. And you sent him to Ottawa, and I was fucking livid when I saw that. Because I thought he was one of the focal points, aside from Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith, that he was going to be one of the guys to kind of build your future team around. And they ended up trading him to Ottawa, and he was a free agent at the end of the year, so I think they did it to where they can kind of get something for him, whereas opposed to if they waited till the end of the season and whether or not to re-sign him, he was going to walk. But it kind of pissed me off. I feel like he was one of the main goal scorers, and you should have kept him.
I'm enjoying free agency right now. Things seem okay. The only obviously the Avalanche made a couple moves in free agency that I think highly of. I'm excited for them. The biggest, not so much head scratcher, but the biggest quote unquote I'm torn was Brad Marchand going to the Panthers because I fucking hate Brad Marchand. Going to the Panthers and I've said it before. The Panthers are not really my team, but there's some people that I follow on a podcast out of Miami, so they're Panthers fans. So I, by default, kind of keep an eye on the Panthers because they care about them. So they needed a player to help with Kachuk being out for the season. So Marchand makes sense, but I hate him. And now he's going to this team, so I don't know how I feel about it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It makes sense. But as a fan, I'm just like, meh, anybody but him. But the Bruins, they kind of, not, I wouldn't say they gutted their team, but they definitely.
They kind of did.
They kind of did, yeah. They got rid of a lot of players that.
The Sharks pretty much gutted their team other than Celebrini and Smith. Yeah. And for some reason, Logan Couture, he's still sticking around.
I think Logan Couture is just going to retire, but anyway. How about you, Russell? Did the Avs make some moves that you really liked?
I watched the last game. They picked up somebody like during the game.
Who they play in the game you watched?
Oh, this really fucking awful team. What was their name again? The Sharks.
The Sharks.
It was really funny. So I had it on. I did not have my full attention on the game, but literally every time I looked up, they were just scoring or doing something absurd. Like the game was silly, for lack of a better word. But no, we picked up. Who did we pick up? Colorado added more officers. Yeah, I know. I have to look up shit. I'm not there yet, right?
Okay. They did add Charlie.
I'm trying.
Coyle.
Yeah,
he was one of the guys they got from the Bruins.
Yeah.
Charlie Coyle. I think the Bruins pretty much dismantled, much like the Sharks. But
we picked up Brock Nelson, which I'm not familiar.
Yeah, he was on the U.S. team.
He played on the
Four Nations
Islanders.
Yep.
Yeah, he was on the Islanders. He's going to be a very solid player, good player for us. Charlie Cole, another good player. So they made some good moves. They didn't really give up a.
You say Charlie Coyle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The fucking guy that used to play for the Wild back then?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jesus, he's still around?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, maybe a veteran trying to win a cup, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Solid pickups. They'll contribute. That makes us better without giving up a ton right now. It doesn't seem like we gave up a ton, both in terms of players and future draft capital. So, Russell, I'll speak for you. I think we did well in this free agency market. So, but what were we saying about the game that they played when you watched? The team they played and the score?
Yeah, how bad was the team they played?
They're pretty bad. I don't know a ton about
But we're not God.
hockey at this point, but I could
Point
tell
two,
that the
0.25 hearts out
the
of
team
5.
did not play well. The Sharks.
You want to give them that much?
He said 0.2.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
So
On a much higher note, it was really fun watching the Avalanche absolutely destroy the Sharks.
But the Sharks did have the better logo, right?
You know what? I will give you that one. I agree.
Look, aside from Will Smith is coming along, Macklin Celebrini has pretty much been good since they drafted him. But
How long ago did they draft him? That's the really
This
young. That's the
year.
18-year-old, right?
this year, yeah.
We
He
actually
got
watched-
his first goal.
He's God.
we actually
He's
watched.
about all they
that
got,
was,
that's God. But
that was at Sean's 40th. We actually watched him get drafted.
yeah, it was. It was that
really?
It was that fucking wrong iron, yeah.
What's his name? Brian Scalabrine,
Macklin
the white
Celebrini.
the white Mamba.
Wheel snipe
The
Celebrini.
Celebrinius. All right, Pat, would you like to close this out with any auto racing news for this episode?
I don't have a ton of news. It kind of like talking about. So baseball they're in like spring training right now. Pitchers, catchers report and all that good jazz. So the season's on the horizon. NHL is getting ready for the start of the Stanley Cup playoff push. NFL is doing free agency right now. NBA is going well. The racing season is underway for me. F1 starts next week. The NASCAR is 3 weeks in. NHRA started today, so you all will be seeing and hearing less of me on Saturday and Sunday. Don't feel bad. It's not you. It's me.
Sundays are usually pod days, though. So
Yes,
Yeah,
but
but I'm sure NASCAR race is over by the time we pod, right?
for the most part, yeah. But during the day, you won't hear as much from me,
Okay, so
unless I'm rage tweeting about something happening during a race. Or something like
So
that.
less memes.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably less memes coming through. But that's all. I just wanted to say that racing season is upon us. With that news also comes that we got the race car, our race car running this past weekend. So hopefully we'll be out going to the racetrack soon, within the next probably 2 months. So I'm excited about that. That was really all. I only want to talk about the race car, and I just needed cars as a general.
So who do you have this race car with?
Two of my friends. My buddies Wade and Keith. I've known them since I was 18 years old, so over 20 years. It's their car. They're brothers. I started as the quote unquote pit bitch.
Now you race.
I don't drive their car. No, I don't have the license that the sanctioning body requires to drive that car of their certain speed. I have a racing license, just not the advanced one to drive that level of car.
Okay.
Sounds like a hogs for the cause thing. You started as pit bitch, and now you're on the team.
You know, hey, I was 18 years old. I knew enough to get their interest, but I didn't know enough about the intricacies of the racing that they did to the level they do. So I'd start by just like helping like wipe the car down, helping like check tire pressure, things like that, and then I got quote unquote promoted to doing more important details. And
Did you get to lube anything?
yes.
On the next episode, I'm gonna put one of the rings that Camden has earned on the top of that W right there.
I don't know how that relates to what we're talking about right now. Why?
Maybe he heard lube. I don't know.
I think lube and the fact that winning and to close out the episode from where we start.
And on that bombshell, wagons out.
out.